Okay, cool. All right. What is going on, everyone? This is the DC Incentives Podcast, episode 33. And we have a special guest here. Please, our special guest, please introduce yourself.
So my name is Rashni Hewawasam. I am an entrepreneur and a life coach that specializes with a lot of mental health cases. I am all about the holistic approach. Even though I have a medical kind of background, I use it just to know, just to have the balance between the drug and holistic world.
Okay, and you're located in France.
Yes, France.
So you are our first guest from another country. We usually get people from the United States. So
Yeah.
you're definitely our first guest. So this is a home record.
I'm excited to be here.
Bonjour, mademoiselle.
There you go.
Okay. Let's get it started. So please introduce yourself of how you grew up from being in the medical field to you being an entrepreneur. Just briefly talk about that. And then TC and Myron will ask you questions also.
Okay, so when I was born into a very strict family, not very rich, because the thing is that it was my mom's choice to kind of be the housewife. So it was my dad who was an entrepreneur, and he was doing a lot of business at the time. And but we come from a really good family when you're considering status in my country. At the age of 3, nobody will my parents never taught me that much, I would say, but I was kind of an observer, and I really learned things from the way they acted and spoke. So I learned my mother tongue, which is Sinhalese, like the talking version of it, just through their actions and verbal skills. I linked the two up, and that's how I learned the language. My first language is English. And by the age of 7, I was kind of tackling 3 languages because I was studying in English. I just accidentally came to the advanced Sinhalese class because of my vocabulary. And I had to choose between French. So I thought French was more actually easier than learning something like German, for example.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what country are you from?
I'm from Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka. Okay. Wow. Okay. And you thought French was easier than German. I don't know. Both sound incredibly hard to learn.
That's the first time I'm ever hearing that.
Because in French, you have a lot of patterns. So for me, it was easy to grasp. It's more easier than my mother tongue. So for me, learning in French is actually more easier than learning in my mother tongue. My mother tongue has completely different letters. It has 67 letters in the alphabet, and they're all round and like fruits.
Oh man, that's
Wow.
That's tough. That's tough.
I don't even know what to say on that one.
you know it's bad when you gotta have another language in order to grasp the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely tough. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know, I don't even know how I did it, but I was learning from a very young age, not exactly memorizing, but learning. And since I was brought into a very strict parents, I was given strict parents, a strict culture. So there is not much freedom, and they are my parents were the two kind of heads of authority, like presidents in my world.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
Talk more about that, please. You said you had strict parents, and you
Yes.
said in your country, it's very strict. Now, here in the United States, you get more freelance to a certain extent. Can you talk
Yeah.
more about that, please?
Yeah, I will explain more about that. It's like I wasn't able to always hang out with the social norms, like even if I had few friends. By the age of 3, I went to school, but I was bullied from the second day of school, actually. I never actually did. And the thing was that a lot of people called me so many things that basically because I was just different. And I tried so hard to like fit into society, but I kept on like not fitting in. It's like I realized that everything happens for a reason. So I kept it that way. I wasn't allowed to have any relationships, like romantic ones.
Okay.
Mm.
And I was only focused on studies, and that was also like it was a kind of competition because I was focused on my studies, because every time I go to my relatives place, for example, so like my grandmom's place, and I had an aunt, and when I told her I really like sciences, she told me my daughter also likes sciences. And by the age of 11, I was doing piano practical and theory examinations. And then she would tell me that my daughter also does piano and theory. So,
Right.
yeah. So it's kind of like inflicting, like it's kind of like creating some sort of competition between me and my cousins, which I didn't like. And it separated us into two different paths.
Yeah, those little psychological war games can have
I think
long-lasting effects and family strains, you know. Do you feel as though your relationship with them today has improved, or has it stagnated?
With my parents, it has kind of improved, I guess.
okay.
But because the thing is that I was the first person to show them the change because I'm the eldest in the family.
Mhm.
So I had it rough. I'm going to be honest. I am a victim of child abuse as well. Because I tried to speak out and tell them that this was wrong. And I used to get beaten up for it. I used to get beaten up even for the slightest things, like laughing at inappropriate times. Like, when you remember a joke in the middle of a funeral and then you're dead.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I get that must be rough. Do you think, I don't want you to get too graphic if it's too hard for you, but do you think,
No, it's easy for me because now I've actually recovered from the depression and anxiety because I was a victim myself.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I can speak about it. I can talk about the feelings.
So my question is, since you experienced that in life, was that the cause of you going into the mental health field and like
Yes.
start studying it? Okay.
Okay.
When did you first garner the passion to work in the mental health industry? When did it click for you that this is what you wanted to do?
That was way further from the story. It was in 2018.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's really
That's
far.
only three, what? Oh, yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's a whole lot of steps I don't want you to skip. So, I guess continue. So, you're in school, you're learning the sciences, you've been developing this unhealthy psychologically unhealthy competition between you and your cousins. And what happens next?
So the thing is that like what is happening is that I'm also learning from it that it's wrong at the same time.
Mhm.
So what's happening is that I'm also learning that what my aunt was doing was wrong, because my cousin never liked sciences in the first place, and she never liked piano either. So it's, she hated me, like she kind of hated me for being like the perfect child, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I call my life, it's kind of like lifting up the Iron Curtain in history, like the impetus to the Cold War.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Got ya.
So
I
the
have a
thing
So,
is, I had like all of this like going on my head. Like I wanted to clarify, I wanted to talk to them to know that like I'm on their side, and I know that like don't pressurize yourself. I just wanted to communicate with them so badly, but unfortunately, I never got the chance until I was like in my late 20s.
Okay.
The thing is that like as I grew older, I became really academic. I became an academic. I actually won some things in science fair, and yeah, there was a science fair, and I would win it, and I would get certifications on it, and so like I had stuff going on, and my IT teacher told me that I was like one of the best students in the school,
mhm.
and and then he asked me whether I could be the president of the IT committee,
Oh,
but
wow.
president of the IT committee at the age of 12. And my parents said no afternoon clubs for me.
Oh,
Oh boy.
Yeah. And like I was kind of like an interesting person because I never really forgot everything I learned. So
Mhm.
the thing is that because I'm not memorizing wholly, only memorizing, I'm kind of learning as well.
Okay.
Mhm.
So the thing is that for example, for IT, we kind of learned how to make a website, and today it's much more easier to make when I was 13, 14. It was really hard to make a website. It wasn't that easy. Now we have apps, and now it's
Yeah.
actually easier.
Yeah.
So I made my own website.
Nice.
It's kind of like a weird website because it was like music orientated, and then because I combined it with piano as well because I was doing piano,
Okay.
and
Mhm.
so I was trying to combine everything what I learned like together. And for IT, I also learned how to use Audacity softwares to like make sound. And I downloaded Virtual DJ to kind of create beats.
Would you say these academic and creative accomplishments
Yes.
improve the relationship that you have that you had with your parents?
No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Explain. Why not?
No, it's because of my choices that I made later on, you know.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
I get that.
Well,
It's like for my like I realized that I can never be perfect for their kind of, because I don't know what the meaning of perfect is.
There's no such thing as perfect.
Yeah, I don't know what their definition of like my parents' definition of perfect was,
Mhm.
but I had a different definition of what perfect was.
Okay. Okay.
what
And
is your definition of perfection?
Yeah.
it's like my definition of perfection is not trying to judge people for who they are, and not trying to like our whole life we have to is a lesson for us to learn. basically. And for me is that that you have to come to an understanding is that perfectionism doesn't actually exist, but you can be better day by day because you're learning something day by day, and that is progress for me. And
Yes.
that is perfection. If I'm doing that every day, if I'm challenging myself every day, that is perfection for me.
That's a beautiful and healthy outlook of
Yeah.
what was probably and most definitely an abusive childhood growing up.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing what numbers parents can do on their children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Uh,
Diamond.
And
No,
then I actually got an exceptional offer in Oxford University to study medicine. I chose St.
Wow.
Yeah, I chose St. Hilda College because I could continue my piano as well.
okay.
But I knew the seat wasn't like there was not going to be enough seats because I'm coming from Sri Lanka, and they first choose like British people, then they have a priority list. First they choose
Yes.
British people, then they choose Europeans, then they choose like Americans, and then Australians,
Okay.
and we are kind of last after India as well. So
Wow.
Africa
So
and
so you
and
so
yeah,
you saying experience like discrimination or something like that?
yes.
Same thing
So
like hey, the other country.
It's
Yeah,
everywhere.
so I
it's
mean,
every
like, yeah, I know that I know that it happens, and I also know that like it happens for Africans as well, but we are like last on the list. Actually, you guys are better off.
That's
Uh,
terrible.
yeah,
Mm.
So
yeah.
how
and
did it so how did your parents react when you didn't choose Oxford?
the thing is that I didn't actually I knew I wouldn't get it, and I told them it's because we are considered like last on the list. There's just no way. It's maybe like if I'm extremely lucky or they consider me, then only I will go to Oxford. Otherwise, I won't.
Hmm.
It's like there's such a narrow chance, very narrow chance with that offer. I was thinking to myself. And also with the embassy, I just wanted to like educate you on that, because not a lot of people actually knows about this. It's like we Sri Lankans need visa to go to actually every country, but for Europe it's kind of different because we have countries in the European Union. So if you have a French visa, you can go to Germany, you can go to Spain with that visa, the same visa.
Hmm.
But if you have a visa like a Romanian visa, you can only visit countries like Serbia, Bulgaria. So
Be very limited, basically.
yes, so if you don't get the visa for UK, it's kind of like a barrier, you
Okay.
know.
Mm.
It's very little
Okay.
offer to you. One of my questions, since as a kid, how like, and I hope I'm using this correctly, how did you handle the trauma that you experienced as a child?
I would like journal my thoughts,
Okay.
and I music was my temporary escape.
Okay.
Okay. All
That's
right. Okay.
universal, I guess. Yeah, I can agree
And
with that.
then I didn't take any like drugs or alcohol because I know that I was like it was prohibited by my parents, and I never actually touched drugs.
That's
Uh,
good.
yeah, no
Yeah.
alcohol, no alcohol at all. It's just at a specific occasion I only drink like one glass, and after like 2 or 3 glasses I feel tipsy. So it's like it's like
Lightweight.
yeah. So I'm not kind of like I don't have a high alcohol tolerance.
Okay.
And I don't smoke either because as I grew up, I watched my dad smoke. So I always used to tell him, because I was a science student, is stop smoking. It's really bad for you.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And he did not listen. It's like every time I like spoke, he would beat me just for it.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Uh,
Would you say you,
Uh,
as an adult now, have you forgiven your parents for the atrocities they committed to you?
Yeah, I have forgiven everything, because I knew that they are also learning in this journey called life.
Mm-hmm.
To accept that for some reasons they won't change as of now, but in the future I still have hope, because
Mhm.
they changed because of me, and they treat my siblings way better for a reason. I have two siblings. I have a sister who's 15, 16, and I have a brother who's 15.
Okay.
okay.
And how old are you, if you don't mind me
I am 26 going on 27.
asking? Okay,
Oh, you're
cool.
so
so,
baby.
so when did you started? When did you start in the medical field? What age was that?
So I got a scholarship to one of the best universities in Romania. It's for medicine. It was I studied allopathic medicine. So at the age of 20, I started. And it's like I have like 1 year we had to do like Romanian, but that's unnecessary. But when I started medical school, I was 20.
Mm.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, but 20, you say you're 26, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a big
Wow.
accomplishment.
Yeah, that is definitely
Yeah,
congratulations.
congrats on that.
For real.
But
Yes.
yeah, thanks. There's a lot in the story, like you have to know before I tell you the rest. It's like, yeah, there's a
Is
lot.
one is one thing I want to touch on. You mentioned earlier. You said something like people used to pick on you because you're different. What do you exactly mean by being different?
Because I wasn't a part of society's norms. I was doing things differently. Like I was more into my books at the time, and
Mm,
I was not afraid to be myself in front of the people.
Okay.
And when I was trying to be myself, it appeared like the first thing I realized is that people would accept me.
got it. Okay. So you you realize of what was your self-worth throughout
Yeah.
life. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
So I want to tell you that I wanted to tell you that I had a year to myself alone.
oh really?
Yes.
How did you come across that?
So I had a year to myself because my parents had to make this tough decision whether to stay with me or like leave. And they
Mm-hmm.
did not have the necessary documents to stay with me. So they needed like a permanent visa, to be a more exact, 5 years, a long-term visa, right? And to get that, they needed to stay in Sri Lanka to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they couldn't migrate with me at first.
And how did you take advantage of that year of isolation?
So that was the first year I discovered myself. Like I discovered like I really like cooking as well. So that's something I discovered for myself.
Okay.
I like inventing new recipes, and I realized that I was more of a leader than a
Mm.
follower. I was the first person to go forward in medical school and was getting all the email addresses of the students and kind of communicating with the teachers and kind of exchanging material between the two parties.
Okay.
uh, I was this kid. It was like really weird for me because the books were extremely expensive at the time, and I had to get this huge book, and it was really expensive. It's like it was. I won't tell you the price, but because the price conversion and everything, it's kind of complicated.
Confusing.
It's definitely-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say it's like it was so expensive. So what I did was like, that's the first time I would put myself online. So I created a Facebook account, actually went to the groups of the university, and I also created an Instagram account and then try to look for students because I know all the students are online.
Okay.
So I know all the students are always on their phones, on their laptops. So I just went online and I found a person who was selling the book I wanted for an incredibly lower price.
Okay. So,
So
uh,
like, yeah,
no. So you discovered cooking. You discovered you were more of a leader. You discovered that you probably liked that independence, I'm assuming.
yeah. I discovered that I'm a rational thinker, you know?
mm,
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm looking for like things like getting an expensive book for cheap. Okay, that's I that is something like I discovered about myself. Like I'm always not you know, going for the expensive thing because that's what like society does.
Yeah.
They go
yes,
to
big time.
need the books, most expensive books. So yeah, and then okay, I got this book and I kind of sold notes because I knew that uni was all about self-study. It depends on the university. Some
Yes.
universities and schools spoon feed you.
Mhm.
This university in particular didn't. So this it was all about self-study and they don't actually care to finish syllabus, some of the teachers. So it was more of self-study. So I was like, these kids want notes quick and study because they want to go through all the topics faster.
Nice.
Yeah, and I actually talked to a lot of people who are older than me in the medical uni and sort of combined the notes and sold it. But it wasn't so expensive. I just sold it just to get a small amount so I can feel good.
Mhm.
It's like I started to be a little financially independent.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So then
So
what I'm
when
doing, yeah.
so when your year of isolation was over, did you have to return back to your parents?
But
No, I
do I,
said once your year of isolation was over, did you have to return back to your parents?
no, my parents came to me because they have got their visa.
Okay.
You know,
And how was that change? How was that shift for you?
it got worse. Like I was better off alone, I would say.
I would imagine so. I would
Yeah,
imagine so.
because I was learning for myself, and thing is that like I don't know, I developed some skills because I learned how to sell the same book for a higher price
Mhm.
that I got. So because I know that there was a demand for that book. So
So let's fast forward the timeline. So you finished medical school. The
no,
year is 28.
I
Huh?
did not finish. I did not finish.
Oh, you didn't finish.
Yes, I didn't finish.
Okay. So why didn't
It
you finish?
the thing is that a lot of things were happening at that moment. So, like at that moment, I had an anxiety attack. So,
Mm,
and an anxiety attack, I was sleeping, and I got myself prepared for an exam. The only thing I drank the day before was coffee, like cappuccino, like 3 cups.
mm,
And the thing is that I woke up one day at 5 a.m. I stood up from the bed, like stood up after getting up from the bed, and I fell down immediately. I lost control of my legs. My legs were numb. I could move them, and it
wow.
felt I was like shot in the spine.
Ooh.
Wow.
And yeah, and the thing was that when I opened my eyes, it's like I could see black blobs everywhere.
Mm.
Okay.
So what happened? What happened after you experienced your anxiety attack and you had your breakdown? What was the next step?
Is to keep going.
Mm.
So I was like crawling all the way to the bathroom
Oh my God.
Wow.
because
Wow.
I need to go to the exam.
Hmm.
That I
So
think that was my intention at that
and
moment.
and did that experience deter you from finishing school?
Actually, not this is not the only experience. I also met with an accident once. I will tell you, it's um, like life is telling me that this is not my path, you know.
Ah, so
So
so when was the exact? Oh, sorry.
go ahead, Naro. Go ahead, Naro. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm so
No
sorry.
problem. I'm just waiting till you give ask me any questions.
Naro is the one that's gonna ask you 50 million questions. So I'm so go ahead, Nairon, and then after that, I'm going to ask her, questions about what she already knows, as
Okay.
far as like the pandemic and medical stuff and health.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So my question, I just want to know what was the exact moment you decided to drop out, and what did you do when you dropped out?
Okay, so the exact moment was in the mid of my second year, the middle of my second year. The thing
Mm,
was I realized like some people were taking advantage of me because I was the kid who was giving all the answers, you know,
Okay.
mhm.
and then that just made me more depressed than happy because
Mm.
like I was hoping for there to be some sort of connection. And I also got to witness like the first stages of a relationship, so like 3 months, but yeah, so I also knew that but this guy was like he was also a scholarship holder,
Mhm.
and he was a Sri Lankan, but he came from a really really poor family
Okay.
Mm,
compared,
Mm.
so he chickened out basically.
Oh,
And yeah.
So
okay.
you got like intimidated, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So go ahead, Rich.
Yeah.
All right. So talk to us about some of these questions was already
Yeah.
asked, but I feel like our audience needs to hear this. So my first question to you is, well, let's go with, I want to go back to when you said about smoking.
Yes.
I now how can now I remember you said smoking is bad for you. Is it like
Yes.
cigarettes, the nicotine, or is it weed? Does it lower your immune system? What is it? Explain that for us.
Okay. So I meant like tobacco in cigarette smoke. So yeah, tobacco smoke contains nicotine. It also contains a type of cholesterol that is incredibly bad for your body. It's called VLDL. So yeah, VLDL is okay. An easier, I will give you an easier name for VLDL is very, very bad cholesterol.
You're about to make me Google this stuff now. You about to, I'm about to do some homework right now.
Okay, VLDL is like very, 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 very bad cholesterol. You have carbon monoxide, you got tar, and then other toxic chemicals such as arsenic. You have benzene, even for like my teacher used to say, my chemistry teacher used to say for the coloring for Smarties and M&Ms, they use benzene,
Mm.
toxic.
Wait. So
And you have formaldehyde as well. So it causes cancers, and you're using it to make chemicals.
slow down.
And-
Hold up. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. This is too much for. Hold on. So you said, hold on. Let's go back before you move forward, because now this is going to be a lot to process now.
Okay.
So you said M&Ms, like the peanut M&Ms that
Candy.
we buy from
Yeah,
the store.
yeah.
Candy.
My chemistry teacher told me that.
Yeah. You heard
Whoa.
it correctly. I said the same in my head. I said M&Ms. I said, ooh.
Whoa. Oh, so I know it's bad for you because it has aspartame, it has red 40, yellow 5, all of that. Now, please continue. Continue what you were saying. Yes.
So formaldehyde, it causes cancers, and it's used to make chemicals and resins. And nicotine, actually, it's an addictive, and it's used to increase the heart rate, blood pressure. It narrows the blood vessels in your body, so more specifically arteries, and which leads to heart attack. And then you have carbon monoxide. And why is carbon monoxide producing? Because there is incomplete combustion. So yeah, according to chemistry, when you burn something and it doesn't burn properly, it's called incomplete combustion. And in incomplete combustion, you have the release of carbon monoxide. If it's complete combustion, then you have the chemistry proves that the result would be carbon dioxide, not carbon monoxide. So you have incomplete combustion. So it's straight up to the lungs and makes it black and burnt. And then, so it also travels to the red blood cells. So it reduces the oxygen level in the body. And so your heart actually has to work faster to pump the blood all over the body.
So it usually pumps faster, like your heart pumps faster as
Yes.
you're going. Okay.
And faster and harder, because now it has to pump, because the thing is that when you're healthy, it's like it doesn't have to pump harder, because you get all areas of the body receive adequate amounts of oxygen.
Yeah.
But when you have carbon monoxide in the body, for example, your heart has to work twice as harder. So like you can see the black sticky liquid in your teeth. Those are kind of like symptoms to say that you're a heavy smoker, and sometimes your nails turn yellow. So
Oh, you talking about the blacks in the lips?
yeah. No,
Okay.
it's black in the lips, and you have a black in the teeth as well.
Like on the gums or like?
In the teeth, it's like some black kind of material in the teeth.
Okay, like a tar look.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if
Go ahead.
yeah, so if you're talking about marijuana, weed, this was kind of like this was kind of what I read from a book. It was not what I learned from medical college, but the book was written by a doctor. So marijuana has THC,
Yeah.
that gives a high off. And this high is associated with euphoric feelings in the mind because dopamine has been released. But this is also like a temporary fix. You don't address the whole issue. It's just that, yeah, it's like a quick fix for depression.
Yeah.
So it's temporary. It doesn't give long lasting effects. And what this does, it can worsen depression. So if you're having depression, it worsens it. So it gets you more anxious, fearful, etc. So these kind of emotions kind of lower your performance, the immune system's performance. And so therefore people kind of develop a dependence over it because they're getting addicted to that temporary desire.
So
Naron, your screen first.
oh, what's wrong with my screen? Oh, shucks.
Yeah, it's been off like a good 6 minutes.
Oh boy. Okay, sorry. Let me see if I can fix that.
I don't know
Is that
if the city or
Huh?
I don't know if you're saving the city at the moment.
No. No, I wish.
Okay,
I wish.
go ahead, Naron.
Oh, so my question was, oh man, I'm so sorry. It's left me. I forgot the question. I
No,
forgot
it's
the
there.
question.
You got it. You got it.
That's never
You got it?
happened to me before.
Now you got it. You got it. It's right there. So, your tongue.
Got it. So are
Okay.
there any unhealthy activities that you do partake in outside of drinking a little bit of wine? Do you smoke recreationally? Do you, I don't know. Oh, I don't know what other negative thing you could do to your body.
Hookah.
So what
Hookah,
I'm doing,
yeah.
yeah, I think I eat chocolate.
That's the bad thing.
Well, but I know
Yeah,
chocolate is good for
don't
you.
smoke.
So that's good. You're not
That's-
missing
that's
nothing.
good.
You're not
Yeah.
missing nothing, honestly.
The thing is that when I was in med school, there were a lot of cigarette butts on the floor, and I never liked that. And people were like, when I was trying to make friends, people were smoking, like putting their smoke on me. Like
Oh,
then I
secondhand.
become a secondary smoker.
Yeah. And I always
So-
hear it's worse being a secondhand smoker than smoking the cigarette itself.
Yeah.
Is that true? Or
Yeah, it is true, because the thing is that to some extent you're as a smoker, you're putting it out as well, putting the vapor out as well because you breathe it out. But another person who's not even a smoker inhales all of it again.
so it's like 10 times.
That's why
Yeah.
that's why sometimes it can be worse. And if that person is always a social person, then you're doomed.
That's a good way to put it.
Yes. So, okay, so in the medical field, when you work, how was your experience working with people? You can say
So
patients or your
Especially
coworkers.
the mental
Yeah.
health field.
So I just want to tell you that even though I made the choice to switch halfway through the second year, I actually made the switch after completing my third year. Okay.
Okay. So how many more years of medical school would you theoretically need?
3 more. 3
Oh,
more.
3 more?
Years?
You ever thought about going back?
No. So I mean, I think I made a good choice at that moment. It was the best choice I've ever made.
Okay. So
I was like, I had a lot of people trying to live through me vicariously. So yeah.
no,
Say that
I-
again.
I-
Hold on. Whoa. Say that again. What you just said?
People were trying to live through me vicariously just because I was doing medicine.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Boom.
You know what it
That's
sounds
the
like?
bar.
It sounds like you're living your truth now.
Yeah.
Facts.
You find out more of what you want to do and not what other people want you to do for them.
Yes.
So that's why I think you liking what you do more and more as time goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is that my dad was happy because he could see it in my eyes that something was wrong with me because I was not my usual self.
Mhm.
And my mom thought that I was malnourished. I just need more food, you know.
Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, that sounds about correct. Yeah. Those want to feed us. Yeah.
Uh,
So when they went to France, I actually came lastly. Um,
Okay.
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 So
so I came lastly, and my dad was really happy. And then I told him that I want to make my own business because I have an idea, and I want to have my own business.
and that's how we get to what you're doing today.
Yes, and
Uh,
because he didn't teach me anything, I was like helping him because he was an entrepreneur all my life. So
mhm.
I was kind of like the secretary. So he put me to a business. He put me to a business university, and he put me to the most expensive one. And I asked him not to.
Was it like too much pressure or like what was it?
No, the thing is like I think it's the way parents are. That the most expensive uni is the uni that is going to teach the kids the right stuff. But
Right. Yeah. No,
oh,
that's a fallacy in thinking.
yeah, and I was like, you can learn the same things in a cheap university.
That's very true.
So
Yeah.
when you say he was an entrepreneur, can you be a little more specific? What were the things that he sold?
So he was an entrepreneur. So he can sell gyms, but it wasn't a very good business because the thing is that we are losing millions when we are selling it to a Western company,
Hmm.
we are losing
Okay.
millions, and but the Western people, it's more cheaper to buy from us because we are a country of low currency depreciation.
Makes
So, all right.
sense.
Yeah.
Definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. I've noticed that also. I've learned that also when popular brands that's in the United States
Yeah.
that people buy that's like $300, they'll go
Yes.
to another country to make the product for like $15.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then they
I-
sell more expensively, and that's what happens with Bulgari, and there are gem brands like what was that like Cartier. Yeah, Cartier. That's what
Mhm.
happens with these companies because they are selling more because of their brand, but they're receiving cheap materials from poor countries.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So,
And
so
then
you,
that's thinking, yeah, go ahead, Nara.
oh, okay. So you have the idea for starting a business, as a life coach and holistic medicine.
No, it's the thing is that I just wanted to start a business, and that was to restructure education. You know,
Okay. It was to
that was to
restructure education.
education, but I didn't know how to do it. And my dad kind of gave me. He put me to the most expensive uni, and after a year, I entered the honors track.
Okay.
You did what?
I entered the honors track.
The honors. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, all right. And what did you take away from business school? What did you learn from business school?
It was mostly about how to manage other people's businesses, not your own. But I
Hmm.
got all the materials that I needed.
Okay.
And the thing is that everybody in the new uni kind of knew who I was, and they're like, because I get good grades, okay. And the thing is that they used to make so much of rumors about me because they thought that I was rich and spoiled. They kind of judged me from my clothes, and I had a Dior purse, okay? Like just because I had a Dior purse and it's fake actually, and they thought it was real, it's my Dior purse was fake.
And people judge you for that because they
Yes.
saw the name brand, but not
Exactly.
Yeah.
knowing that's fake.
Yeah.
That's
It,
people.
it was a fake, and I also like went out with a guy because he seemed nice, and I don't know, like
Hello. Can anyone hear me?
he
Yeah,
was
we hear you,
wearing,
Naira.
yeah, he was wearing like, I don't know, he was wearing ordinary clothes, so I didn't expect him to be rich, you know.
Mhm.
So I guess a lot of rumors just circulated, and I'm the person who's like goal orientated, right? So the thing is that when a guy like that asked me out, I didn't even know that he had 5 cars, sports cars.
Five cars?
Yeah,
Wow.
5 sports cars. I didn't know. He just dressed up like a poor person, so I expected him to be just ordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One quick question. How was that? I know you say you didn't really have a chance to date a lot when you was younger. So when you
Yeah.
got yourself onto the market, basically, how did you feel? Like basically letting yourself be vulnerable to a next person.
Yes, I felt like I was learning more. The thing is that I learned what kind of a partner is actually suitable for me. And I think I needed to be vulnerable in the first place, which my parents disagree on, to
Mhm.
figure that out.
So what kind of person do you need? Because I may be on the market soon, and you look kind of nice. So
Yeah.
talk to me about that.
So like I like a
Wait,
guy.
so
I saw it. It's like I'm the alpha in the relationship. So I'm the alpha in the relationship, and the guy kind of like helps me, educates me. That's the type I like, and kind of does everything I want him to do.
Oh wow, that wow. Oh.
Myron. Myron.
oh, he's gonna fly all the way from New York to France to see you.
I'll go to France for a date. I wouldn't mind. How much is a plane ticket for France?
Yeah, actually, this is kind of weird because all the guys just wanted to come to my location. So I kind of knew that I was an alpha after that. That's why they are
Gotcha.
doing
Got it.
but they're doing it. because
Oh
the thing is,
man.
like it took me a long time to figure out that I was the alpha.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Wow. And how does that? And has that been working for you? In fact, I mean, I don't know a lot of guys that are like
how do
into
you
that
feel
stuff.
about that? Yeah.
No, because the thing is that I was acting like a beta, but I realized that I'm not the beta.
Hmm.
I'm the alpha.
So are you currently seeing anybody now? And if so, how does being the alpha affect your relationship?
It's because in my experience, I've noticed like if there are two alphas in the relationship, they're always fighting, and everybody think like both of them think that either one is lying.
It's no
And
balance.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
agreements than the usual kind of relationships.
Mhm.
And if there is beta and beta, I've noticed that there's no improvement in life. It's like it's not going anywhere. It's like the relationship is not going anywhere. It's just you're wasting a lot of time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I still have a lot of health questions for our audience that we need to get into instead of talking about, you know. So go ahead, Nairon and TC, and then after that, I have like a whole bunch of health questions.
I'm ready for the
All
health
right, yeah.
questions too. I'm
No,
ready.
no, I got a pretty important health question. How do you feel about dating African American men? I mean, how does the health-wise, psychologically, for your health, how
Yeah.
would you be open to dating an African American man?
Actually, I don't mind like the race. Like I'm not racist. Like I have released a book that kind of destroys racism and sexism in the first place.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
All right,
sorry.
that's
Forgive him. Because
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I meant to.
That's the last time. That's the last time. I
I'm
promise.
sorry. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry.
I meant to tell you yes. He'll ask you a million
Yeah.
questions. I meant to do that. Oh wow, this. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
Diamond. The hell questions. Hell questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to, before you go to the healthy questions, I just say that everybody knew me in the uni, and I started coaching students, and that's when I started coaching and I used to give students a direction in their life. So one guy said, I don't know, my parents just pay me. I go to uni, but I don't want to be here. And then I was like, what do you want to do then? I want to be a geography teacher. So that's a good way to start. And then it was like, okay, you can create your own tutoring business for geography. And there was this girl who was like, I was hoping I can like organize other people's clothes in their wardrobe. I was like, is there a job like that? No. And yeah, because these were like extremely rich kids, and I was like, you can be a fashion entrepreneur, you can design your own clothes, you're really creative. I don't think that anybody would need you to organize their closet, because I can do that myself. And yeah, and the thing is that in 2020 the pandemic struck, and I knew that my dad can't invest in his business and support me during my education. And I guess I came to, there was a light bulb moment in my life that taught me that I don't need a degree to prove to the world that I'm smart.
So, speaking of the pandemic, right? And I know you answered this question before our
Yes.
audience. So how has the pandemic enable us to shift from the old world to the new worlds?
So the thing is that a lot of businesses closed down and they had to move online. So I think that there's a there's a beautiful world in the online. You can sell, you can do a million things, and you can survive basically from the online world.
Yeah.
And you need to even go and meet people physically, like what we're doing right now. We are still maintaining social distance. We are virus. We're kind of evolving in a way. So with technology and technological advancements, the thing is that like we are communicating without even meeting. So we are using Zoom for that. So these are methods that there will be new, more innovative methods that are going to take place in the future, and it's going to happen at a faster pace because of the pandemic. Like all the innovations kind of speeded up in a way.
So I want to go ahead, Nairon.
No. You had more questions, more medical questions. So yeah, keep going.
Well, so I want to continue on when you talked about, because now we have NFTs, cryptos, and the metaverse world and stuff.
Yeah.
So last year, for what you were saying, essential workers, and they was the heroes. Well, for the United States, I know for other worlds also.
I know they are workers are they're superheroes, yes, but
yes.
in this case, I would say the pandemic. When they released the vaccine, like they broke a lot of medical rules, especially a lot of medical rules that I learned. And I just want to tell you that I'm the woman that does not shut up, I'm not the sheep.
No, because as we in your life, as you talk about your life, we can see why you're not the hush type. You're the one that you're revolution, you know, you're a rebel. And to continue on that, you're absolutely correct. As in, we are the heroes and everything. We went through this pandemic. Now it's, if you don't take the jab, then you lose your job.
Yeah.
And you said that it's a lot of medical, you said a medical rules that they broke. Now, you
Yes.
talking about politicians or something like that? Like,
I'm talking about businessmen and politicians.
got it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And you say according to the vaccine, right?
Yes, they broke a lot of rules. Vaccine is drug classified. It takes 10 to 15 years to produce one drug. And they go through a series of tests or phases. First, we have clinical testing or animal testing. And then we have clinical phases. So you test about 20 to 80 healthy volunteers. And then you moved on to the next group, which is 100 to 300 patients, and then 1,000 to 3,000 patients. And this normally takes, like, for the healthy small group, it takes about 1 to 2 years. And for the other two groups, it's like 3 to 4 years. And it's basically you're measuring how the drug is absorbed, distributed, and excreted. And then you have like two types of files, which is like a lot of pages, like 10,000 pages probably to fill. And it's called the IND application and NDA application. So you have investigating new drug application and new drug application. And then you have post-marketing studies. And the FDA has to approve at each stage, which wasn't done. Any of this wasn't done.
Okay.
Wow. What?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it couldn't have been, right? Because the vaccine came out within the year of the virus. So my follow-up question would be then, what are your thoughts on the vaccine itself? Because I've read articles that stated that the reason that they were able to come out with the vaccine so quickly is because this is a COVID strain, and there are vaccines out for COVID strains already. What say you to the rapid way in which the vaccine was produced?
That never happened in history. So if you take a look at the history, this has never happened. I'm going to tell the truth to everybody, and it's like, this has never happened, and it's the first time that has happened. So it's like going against medical rules.
So one thing about this podcast is I don't want you don't have to sugarcoat, okay?
Stop.
You
Yeah.
do not have to sugarcoat anything.
That's great. That's great.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll go first in not sugarcoating anything. You are gorgeous. I'm sorry. I find you more attractive as we continue to talk throughout this podcast. That's just me, saying my piece and not holding back how I think and feel in this moment.
I feel honored that you think that way. Because not everybody appreciates a woman that goes and doesn't shut up. I've been
Oh no, I hope this podcast lasts for another 5 hours. I'm good. I'm fine.
I've been abused all my life. So yeah.
All right. But so would you take the vaccine, or have you taken the vaccine, or are you gonna avoid it at all costs?
Well, first, but before you answer the question, I know you did say about, well, not you say, but the question is also to follow up is that CDC data, right? I don't know if the website, when you said about the CDC data about vaccinated are more like being hospitalized or something like that, according to CDC data. Can you please explain that, and what's the website that people can look up?
So you can find this on CDC that they are releasing data. But so by April 2021, there were 4,000 people that were admitted to the hospital, and they were all vaccinated.
Wow.
Say that one more time.
4,000 people were vaccinated and admitted to the hospital in April 2021.
Wow, 4,000.
And you said, wait, and you said this is on CDC data.
Yeah, CDC data.
Wow. And okay, so do we have to go to cdc.com or something? Like what's the
Yeah.
website?
You can go to CDC. You can also check it out on Forbes. There's an article on it. And there are people speaking out because they mandated the vaccines. And when they mandated the vaccines, all the doctors here went on strike, and lawyers as well. So you had the most educated people were on the streets.
Okay, so let's go back for a second when you said continue for what Nyron was asking.
Yes.
Which is, what's your, well, you don't have to answer this question honestly.
Yeah, okay.
But continuing to what Nyron was saying, what is your stance on it?
What's your vaccination status is what I'm essentially asking.
I mean, you can completely say,
You can
I'm
say
not
anything
answering
you want.
you don't, it's completely up to you.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to tell the truth. Okay, like I am not vaccinated. Okay. I use the mask. I maintain social distancing. I'm living on top of a hill, and I use the mask when I only in crowded areas. And I'm not even like tested as well, and I'm like healthy, because I know the PCR test is not designed to actually distinguish COVID. You can't even distinguish COVID from PCR test. It's like flu, for example. It could be a flu, it could be a cold. So, no.
Oh man, I have so many questions. I know, Nyron, you have so many questions too.
I just want to
Listen,
say,
we could talk all day. I'm fine.
I just want to say one day about the vaccines. To me, the reason why the vaccines even came out so fast, because I think it's just a flu shot.
The thing is that it's not a flu shot. It's more complicated than that. They have actually nanoparticles which are actually toxic for the brain. It's like it's like taking the vaccine is like promoting the pharmaceutical industry, because you're going to be you taking the vaccine is a risk, I would say, for other diseases.
Other diseases like what?
So
like heart conditions?
Yeah, like the FDA has actually released 3 documents for the three different vaccines, and they have also mentioned that before taking the vaccine, you should be actually consulting a physician.
So it's proof that for what we're getting the information, because I know you studied this. You definitely studied this. So for what you're for this information is that for people in of course, in the United States, when they say we mandate this, it's actually proof that it's unconstitutional and it broke the rules. Like you can actually.
Yes. The thing is that this vaccine, it's like this COVID vaccine is just like, I would say it's similar to flu, because it's the way how it's similar to the flu and the cold vaccines is that even if you take it, you're still going to have the disease.
Right. You're still susceptible to getting the disease.
It's not carrying.
Absolutely, like
that's
grams,
like people
measurements.
take a cold vaccine. Yeah, they don't take cold vaccine. They don't get flu shots, because that's something that we can do ourselves. We can recover from using our natural immune system. Same with COVID.
It's proven 2020 that you can because we all had family that, passed away from COVID,
Yes.
and everything. So, what would you say to those that, like the elderly, that
Yeah.
has a weaker immune system when they, like, when we get older? So what would you say to them? What's the advice?
So okay, for elderly, I actually at the beginning of the pandemic, I just wanted to say, when I said that don't take the vaccine, I just looked like an idiot. But it was only an idiot for a short period of time until everything took place. And for the elderly people, vaccines won't work because their immune system is already weak.
So you don't think a vaccine will prevent them from fighting the disease should they catch it?
No, because your immune system becomes weaker as you grow older, and this was one of your questions, health questions, because the production of cells reduce. So we have the lymphocytes that reduce in the body. So when you're older, and when your body is kind of responding to a disease, it doesn't respond as robustly as an immune system of a young person responds. So the thing is that the immune system becomes slower to respond to any disease, and flu shots and other vaccines may not work.
So, all right. So explain to us about immune systems, because now it's explain to us about when we are young, our immune system is strong, and then when we get older, it gets weaker. Can you please explain that, please?
Also, too, I just want to add on to that
I have
question.
to explain to you what our immune system is made out of. We have the first barrier, which is the skin.
Mhm.
And then when we are so viruses, bacteria, any type of pathogen can enter through eyes, nose, mouth, ears, and even sex organs. Yeah. So that's how any pathogen can enter the body. And you have immune system. What type of cells come to mind is white blood cells, and there are types of white blood cells. You have lymphocytes, you have granulocytes, you have monocytes. So lymphocytes are like T helper cells, like adaptive, that give adaptive immunity and activate B memory cells that kind of remember the disease. You have T killer cells. So T killer cells kind of come and they give you like a label saying, here's the infected cell. This is the infected cell. And it just points to a human cell that has been infected by the pathogen, and it labels them. So you can so there's another type of cell that comes and destroys it.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, TC.
Question. And also, too, I know you said elderly people would benefit from the vaccine, but what about people who have like diabetes, for example, those kind of chronic conditions?
Yeah. Yes, I gave a whole list, but I made my podcast because everything that's been circulated in the news is kind of biased. So I gave a whole list of people who wouldn't benefit from the vaccine, and people with diabetes were one of them. Pregnant women were there, elderly people, yes. I gave a whole list of people who should get the vaccine.
Okay, so oh my, I have so many questions if you don't mind. It's like very so
just charge my device. Yeah.
okay. So let's talk about why people just briefly why people make the same mistakes.
About what?
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Okay, so I mean, when it comes to life in general, people repeat it because they don't understand where they're going wrong.
Are you talking about mistakes in general, or?
Yes, in general. Yes, in general.
Oh, okay, okay. All right.
So people don't realize where they're going wrong. So when you're dealing with culture, the problem I had was the best careers were like doctor, lawyer. Those were the types of best careers, engineer. But if you didn't know anything and you were pretending that you knew everything, you would be pointed out to a political career. And so I'm like, we are supposed to believe these people?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Yeah, I find that interesting because you're the second person who I take seriously when it comes to talking about the vaccine and the potential dangers of it. The other person I know, his name is Paul, and he's an EMT worker, and he had the same concerns as you. And the thing he pointed out to me is that we're not going to know the long-term effects of this rushed vaccine until 10, 15, 20 years from now, you know?
Yeah.
And that's something I had never considered. It just feels like for us in this current moment, we're in a tight spot because society is telling us to get it. If we don't get it, we're susceptible to catching a relatively new virus.
Or losing our jobs.
Yeah.
Or losing our incomes.
Yeah.
The thing is that if you are in that case, it's like it's better to work remotely or maybe at home or kind of implement a new system. And if it's a new virus, you shouldn't be fearful of death in the first place. It's like your body can handle a lot of viruses, a lot of you have been through I think you have gone through many illnesses by yourself.
Yeah.
What I'm currently experiencing is, I think it's a love sickness, but that's neither here nor there.
Smooth operator.
Oh man, okay. So explain coffee, tea, and what's the chemical substance of coffee? Can you please explain that?
Okay, so like we were taught this from a really young age, by the way.
Hey, we need a reminder. We need
So
M&M's are cancer.
it's not only for coffee and tea, it's also for energy drinks, cola drinks, energy bars.
Okay.
And actually they have a substance called caffeine. Caffeine is a natural drug that kind of stimulates the brain and nervous system. So its effects include increasing body temperature, dehydration, dizziness, headaches, migraine, rapid heart pace, restlessness and excitability, anxiety, fatigue, muscle pain, no sleep.
So I have a question for that. So you see, coffee gives you caffeine and stuff. I know tea also gives you caffeine.
Yes.
But is it like a healthy version of caffeine, or is it like the same thing?
So no, it's like you take black tea, for example. Black tea gives you 11 milligrams of caffeine. So if you take coffee, you have 40 milligrams of caffeine. So I would say taking black tea is better because you have 11 milligrams of caffeine. So it's a reduced amount. So
Okay. And I know it's better for you to drink tea anyway because coffee also produces acid.
yeah, that is true, but that's not my explanation for giving up coffee at the this. Yeah.
Okay.
So what about I'm all right. So I'm gonna explain my personal about me and tea. So I take tea almost every day, and I use it with turmeric, ginger,
Good.
sometimes
Yeah,
so,
that's good.
yeah, sometimes I drink apple cider vinegar in the morning. So, but the thing is, for me in tea, I don't use it for sugar. Even the organic sugar, I don't. I use honey.
Okay.
So explain that if I'm doing a thing, please explain to me. Explain.
Okay. The thing is that you're actually very healthy compared to the average person because they'll use sugar, and my mom like use 4 teaspoons of sugar, and I'm reducing the amount. She's increasing it a bit, and yeah. So like I keep on telling her that don't go crazy with the sugar.
Like,
So
wow.
honey is the right. So I'm doing right, using honey instead of sugar.
Yeah, but like don't go heavy on the honey as well. But you're doing it more. You're living a life more healthier than the average person.
Okay. All right. Guys, you have any questions? Because I got more questions for her.
No, it's good to be on the other side where like the other person has like tons of questions to
I
ask.
know, it's hitting on her. Like,
Yeah.
I am not hitting. I am making astute scientific observations about the level of attractiveness of one of the people in this podcast right now. That's all. It's a
Yeah, this
scientific, objective analysis.
now everything for what you're answering, you studied this, right? For how
Yeah, I studied this. I actually studied about like tea and coffee from a like young age.
everything for what we're talking about, you like it took years to study this?
Yeah, because like I'm coming from like I had to go to school, right, before going to medical college. So
Absolutely,
yeah,
yes.
so these are the stuff I kind of learned, like about coffee containing caffeine, and there's this appropriate amount that is like acceptable, which is lower than 400 mg of caffeine a day, lower than 400,
Wait, say that again about 400 mg.
lower than 400 mg. But mine is way lower. Mine is like mine is like 11 mg a day.
So let's say about when we go to the doctor every 6 months or every year to get checked up.
Yes.
So we got to check high blood pressure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, high cholesterol, sodium, and when we get checked up, right? Every 6 months. So what would your advice be to have a balance? And I know, like I would say, like 80% of it has to do with us eating. So can you please explain that?
It's that you have to understand the science about healthy eating. It's like and what you're doing, because caffeine, if you're increasing the amounts of caffeine, for example, you release cortisol and adrenaline in the body. So when cortisol and adrenaline is in the body, you have increased heart rate, you have increased blood pressure, you have increased blood sugar, decreased digestive system function. So that promotes weight gain and decreased growth processes.
So my question is increased heart rate, increased blood pressure. I mean, could you get the same effects from looking at a pretty woman, or is it just strictly food?
Oh man,
Yes.
we're
It
gonna
can
pray for
happen.
Naira.
Yeah, but it's like a temporary feeling, but not every day you're feeding yourself.
So if I saw you every day, you mean like these side effects would
But
eventually decrease,
I
or would it?
yeah,
Or hmm?
it will decrease. Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's unfortunate. I like this feeling right now.
You know this is live, right, Nairon? This is going
even
on.
people's what? Like,
You know people's
people
watching this.
want to know. No.
Like Nairon, the public is watching this.
Yeah.
This is gonna be on YouTube. This is gonna be on social media. Do
I
you
know
know
it's Sunday,
that?
Monday, but damn. I'm sorry
Oh,
for him. I'm sorry.
Do you know
I'm
this is
having
gonna be on
fun.
social media?
I'm having fun, man.
I apologize for him. I'm sorry about that. Quick
Okay, so
question.
go ahead, TC.
The medical field, you would say you got into it like around elementary school, like around that age, or like older?
No, no, the thing is that like I chose sciences from a really young age. So like in junior school. So junior school is like when I'm like 9.
Oh, okay.
It's like really into sciences. So they taught us this about cortisol increases when you take caffeine, and the same thing happens when you are in stress situations, moody, scared situations. So you have increased cortisol, increased adrenaline when you take caffeine. So it's like
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit jealous. Like, like science back in ours, like in America here, they teach us about like what they taught us about how to make a volcano.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
something like that. Like, does water conduct electricity? Like, you
Yeah,
know,
I'm trying to think. What did they teach us? Remember that little thing? Like they would take 2 Coke bottles and you would spin it
yeah,
around to make a
yeah,
something
I did
tornado.
that. I did
yeah.
that. But it was for geography class actually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like you
They
guys are
didn't.
way ahead of us. Like,
Yeah, they never prepared us about the big stuff.
no.
Right. All right. So I have a couple more questions that I'm gonna get to, guys, and then I'm gonna ask you entrepreneurs questions. So talk to us about because here in the United States, here,
Yes.
what is it called? Oh my God. When we have ingredients, it's approved by the FDA. So it's approved by the FDA. Some ingredients that we eat, which is we talk about in the podcast, and I Google, what I do is I Google search this. Like it's just a
Yes.
simple Google research. I don't do no hard research or anything. I just Google this.
Yes.
So please explain about like, the ingredients that we eat. I know I touched on high fructose corn syrup. I touched on aspartame, the red 40, and I touched on the healthy ones too, like why you should fast. Well, I didn't touch on fast. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I'll say you go too fast.
Water.
Fasting increases intelligence, if you didn't know.
Say it
Say that
again.
again.
Fasting increases intelligence.
Gotcha.
More often.
Wow.
I need to do that more often. You just need to
Fasting? I've been fasting every month, like every 3 months. But
I be thinking about it. I'm just like, yeah.
Nah.
Honestly,
fasting-
I inadvertently do intermittent fasting sometimes because sometimes only eat 1 or 2 meals a day. And I know after like a 12 to 15 hour period of not eating, I think your
Yes.
body begins to go into a starvation mode.
You better than
Yeah.
me. That third meal
Yeah.
better come on my plate.
And there's a link with intelligence as well.
So talk
Okay.
about like the ingredients and the nutrition facts and stuff. You can talk about the good ones. You can talk about the bad. You can balance it. Whatever you like to talk about. Just give advice for our audience.
So you are like about salt, sodium, and butter. I just want to tell you that sodium is salt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Butter has about 11 milligrams of salt. And the best best butter is the unsalted butter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where can
So
we? Or what do you know of any unsalted butter products?
Exactly. And you prefer unsaturated butter, you mean, right?
If you want to know which fats are better, there are 2 types that you can choose from. So trans fats are unhealthy, and there are 2 other fats categories. They're called saturated and unsaturated fats. So I learned this in biology when I was young. So Unsaturated fats are better because they have the CC double bond, and that's CC, this is chemistry, carbon-carbon double bond. So unsaturated means carbon-carbon double bond. There are products that have chemicals like natural ingredients that have the CC bond. That
Okay.
CC bond, that carbon-carbon bond breaks down and gives you HDL cholesterol, which is a good type of cholesterol because it goes straight to the liver to be broken down.
Okay.
I think you're gonna have to break that down one more time. I'm sorry. Like
Okay.
you said HDL. I know you have to get to Nairon's question too.
Okay.
You said HDL.
Yes.
And you
HDL
said,
is good cholesterol, aka
Okay.
good cholesterol.
and you said something about CD or CC, something like that.
That's chemistry. It's like carbon-carbon double bond.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So
Yo,
my
this is
chemistry
good.
say every time you're dealing with unsaturated, it's sort of chemicals that could be artificially made or naturally made as well. It can be both, but they're CC, they're carbon-carbon double bond. They can be broken down to a healthier cholesterol in the liver.
So with HDL, what foods do you normally find that in?
So you have, I can give you examples of unsaturated fats.
Okay.
So you have two types of unsaturated fats. You have monounsaturated, again, this is chemistry, polyunsaturated fats. So yeah, poly means you have so many carbon-carbon double bond, and mono means you have only single. So you have olive, peanut, canola oils, avocados, nuts. If you eat a lot of nuts when you're young, there is a correlation that you develop intelligence if you eat a lot of nuts.
Mhm.
Sesame seeds or pumpkin seeds. Then we have polyunsaturated fats, which are like walnuts, corn, soybean, flaxseed oils. You have flax seeds also, and fish
Okay,
and
okay.
Seed oil. Yes.
Take it every day.
Every day
Yeah.
we take black seed oil.
Yeah.
That's good.
And one observation I realized too, with different countries, like let's say every country has a McDonald's.
Yes.
I see the portion sizes are completely different to America. Because America, for example, you can order a small, the drink is this big,
Yes.
it's tall. And I just want to know, like, why is that? For example, in France, I know a small is like smaller than this cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, I think when you're considering France, like I think they have a more healthier mindset. And so they say we won't give this much of calories per bun burger. I think there's a rule or something when you try to like have a McDonald's outlet in France. There's a difference.
Mm.
So some countries may allow it, some countries do not.
Okay. Wow. All right, Nairon. Ask your questions again, Nairon. I'm sorry about that.
I forgot what it was, what my initial question was in regards to health, but my questions are gonna veer off into talks about entrepreneurship, and
Yeah.
so if you still want to talk about health, we can. As far as health, I won't have as many questions though.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fine.
No, go ahead. So I only have about, I'm be honest, you only have about like 4 health questions, and then we can move to the entrepreneurship.
You just said you had 2 more health questions.
I'm sorry.
And then you added 4 more on top of the 2.
He's like, hold on, 2 plus 2 is 4. I'm gonna add that real quick.
He's a victim of the American public education system.
Aren't we all suffering from poor education system at the same time?
I'm currently suffering from being love struck, but that's a whole nother thing. So, you know.
Okay. So explain. I'm gonna make this very quick because I know we don't really have, oh my God, time. Well, is it okay if we can get extra time for you or no?
That's fine by
Okay.
me.
What time is it over there right now? If it's 4 over here?
It's 10:07.
Wow. Do you have
That's what
work
I'm
or something
saying.
tomorrow?
I kind of start the day with a jog.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So
you don't want to
wait.
try to hold you longer.
Yeah,
much
we don't
longer.
want to try to hold you long. You know
Yeah.
what? So I'll make my questions. I'll do two more questions.
Okay.
Explain, but I'll just do two in one. So explain metabolic rates,
Yeah.
low, medium, below, or high. I'm sorry, and then explain what weakens our immune system in general, and then that's it.
Okay. So the metabolic rates, we have high, which is ectomorph. There's a specific term for it. And medium metabolic rate is like mesomorph. And low metabolic rate is called endomorph. There are scientific, terms. So high people who have a high metabolic rate are those like, is that one guy is your skinny friend who eats all the food in the buffet and he's still
Mhm.
skinny.
That used to be me. That used to be me. Not
But then,
anymore.
but then after we get the high, high blood pressure and stuff like that on the inside. Yeah.
Yeah, so these type of people need to eat more protein and have more strength training. They have to focus on taking some calories, so they might be athletes. So I kind of put myself here. Mostly I'm mostly a person of high with a high metabolic rate, so I have a bit of like, I digest things so fast, and I kind of like I was kind of I had a lean body from the very start. I wasn't very fat.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I eat carbohydrates before a run.
Okay.
So
And how often do you exercise?
it's like every morning now because I am an entrepreneur.
Right, right. You have that freedom.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. What if? Oh my God! All right, I promise y'all, it's gonna be the last. What advice would you be? I'm sorry. What advice would you give for people that eats like morning, afternoon? Like, actually, you know what? Scratch that. What is the max time? Like, should it be 6 p.m., 7 p.m.? They should be like, not stop eating, but like heavy meals.
Yeah, that's a good one. What is the optimal time to consume food?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would say like you have time until 3 p.m. in the afternoon, I guess.
What?
Yeah.
You said 2
That's
p.m. or 3 p.m.?
Said what?
that's really early.
You have time till 3 p.m. Normally people have the big breakfast and a big lunch, right? But the thing is that for dinner, we kind of reduce the amount because you're going straight to sleep. And when you go straight to sleep, your kind of digestive system slows down. So a lot of people can gain more weight when they eat a lot right before they sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You can do the entrepreneur questions now. Go ahead, guys.
All
And
right.
then,
So
yeah, I didn't go through mesomorphs and endoperfs, so medium and low. So for
okay.
medium, you have a balance between protein and carbs. So balance between strength training and kind of um, cardio training. It's like running and stuff. So you have to have a balance. And for low, it's like circuit training. Yeah, they call it circuit training. And diet should contain like less fats, more protein, and more vegetables. Eat and I eat a little, like little bowls. If you're an endoperf and you have very low metabolic rates, you eat like little bowls whenever you're hungry, little bowls of food, but don't starve yourself.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, when I started fasting, I learned that I'm just saying, me personally, that some of us, we were taught to eat 3 meals a day, but
Yeah.
now that I fasted for like every month, like 3 days, 5 days, I learned that you don't need solids to really survive to a certain extent. Just
Yeah.
water, just water.
Yeah, the thing is that a lot of people actually do this. A lot of people actually survive through water, and the thing is that it kind of stimulates a lot of things happening in your body, and your body goes on to survival mode. And the thing is that it learns to preserve like the necessary components for your body. And yeah, so scientifically speaking, like I would say fasting, I've read that fasting in a way gives intelligence, because you also become very grateful for your life, for things you have, and you don't overeat, or you kind of don't overeat or do anything, right?
Mhm.
You don't go, you kind of you don't go past the limitations, like, if I could put that. So you don't overeat when you're fasting, right?
Okay.
Right. Right. You have more discipline. You constrain
Yeah.
yourself.
Yes,
Yes.
More
that's what
control.
I.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, thank you for the health
Oh, that's a good health tip
knowledge.
right there.
Definitely.
As you can
That's
tell, as you can tell, Diamond is all about health. Whenever we have a podcaster on that has even the slightest inkling of knowledge about health, they'll ask them tons of questions about
Hey
it.
man, health is wealth.
hey, health is well.
Health as well.
Health is
Health
wealth.
as well.
So y'all could ask, her being an entrepreneur and everything.
Here you go
Okay.
now.
All right. So you
That
were talking about.
Yeah, so that was a huge like a step for me and a challenge for me, because all this time I felt like I've been avoiding the real world situations, but just by studying, or like I felt like I've been avoiding everything that's happening in real life just by studying or trying to obtain a degree. That's what I felt like.
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of avoiding it every time we're choosing study, you know?
So, specifically, what is your business? How do you construct it? How has it allowed you more free time than than a normal 9 to 5 would?
So like first of all, I want to tell you, I wasn't this kind of person who was being accepted to jobs. I went to a magazine company first to work there so I can write for their magazines, but they you need to write your own book, because what you write is so meaningful. And I guess my thoughts are more organized when I'm writing. And yeah, so I write things that I've learned in life and in my life specifically. So and I put all these lessons I've learned, like perseverance, to have perseverance and applaud yourself, because if you have achievements, whether they are apparent or hidden,
Mm-hmm.
learn to celebrate them. And I kind of write like incredibly meaningful stuff. So they asked me to write my own book, in which I did. It's called Unveiling the Truth Behind Catherine's Destiny. I made it a fiction story. It's about my life. I made it a fiction story because it will raise a lot of skepticism. And I also have put some health facts and kind of like things that I should have learned in school, which
Right.
kind of like destroys racism, destroys sexism kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, you just say racism? What?
I
Racism?
I know, I kind of those fact blobs that I put in my book kind of destroys the whole idea of racism, destroys the whole idea of sexism.
Yeah, you'll remember when I was asking her earlier and she confirmed that she would date me. She said it's because she was going to get, she doesn't believe in racism and her book kind of destroys it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Right.
Okay.
Anyway, so So writing is one of your hobbies.
Yeah.
But how did you, so you applied for many jobs, you didn't really get accepted
And
or hired a lot often.
yeah, and also I got into an interview with a real estate company that was kind of also doing another business, which was kind of inventing secure locks so you can use barcode to enter and leave.
Uh-huh.
So I would speak 1 hour with the HR because I was so interesting to them, and he would just leave the other interviewees like lining up, and then I was like, "What about them?"
I got your story beat. I got your story beat. So I was job hunting and I applied. You might not know this organization, it's big in the United States. I applied for a position for the NAACP, which is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Yes.
And it was, I think, a couple years after college, and it didn't really pay a lot, but the fact that I was able to work when I had the opportunity to interview to work for an organization like that was what incentivized me to go. So I get to the interview early, right? I get to
Yeah.
the interview 30 minutes early for the NAACP. The woman shows up 30 minutes late, right? My interviewee shows up 30 minutes late. She had her hand on her phone the entire time.
Yeah.
And I'm taking this interview seriously. She goes, what brought you to the NAACP? What are your long-term goals here? And she said, she asked me, what are your weaknesses? And nobody had ever asked me that in an interview. And quite honestly, I have no weaknesses, just in case you're wondering. So it took me some time to really figure out how I was going to answer. She gets up in the middle of the interview,
Yeah.
and I'm waiting there for 20 minutes. She said, hold on, I'll be right back. I have to take this phone call. She never comes back. Her secretary comes back and explains to me that the woman wanted to thank me for my time and she'll get back to me if she wants to hire me. It was the rudest interview I had ever been a part of. You know, I was rejected from the a black man was rejected from the NAACP, overqualified for the NAACP position. It was a slap in the face. It was a slap in the face.
But like, I was speaking to a Danish person. He was a Danish HR, and he was telling me that maybe I need to make my own business. And he said, I know you figure things out. He kind of gave me a clue. Is like, I know you figure things out of future because you are more of a leader than a sheep.
Okay.
Gotcha.
He gave you that spark that you needed.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So what exactly did you choose to pursue your business in?
So like, I wanted to continue the life coaching because I knew that 98% of the people aren't as happy as they should be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, that's why I went to the life coaching field, because I knew that a lot of people just wanted to find true happiness. And that's by living their truth and not living a lie. What happens in societies, they've made the lie the truth and the truth the lie.
Right.
How long have you been doing this now?
So it's almost 1 year.
Okay.
So
And I can. Oh,
no, go ahead.
oh,
Go ahead
sorry.
now.
All right. So economically, when you first started out, I know money is a touchy subject for a lot of people, but if you could be candid, so you started off. I'm sure you weren't making a lot of money in the beginning. How are you keeping yourself afloat while you were doing life coaching?
The thing is that I needed to form partnerships with other people. So the thing is that, like, I kind of signed a deal, a company that was willing to kind of give me more customers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Increasing my sales. So in other words, they were increasing my sales. So the thing is that I make a huge impact for them. The deal was I will make a huge impact for my clients, and they will get sales for that, more people for that. So it's more sales.
Okay. So it's not like a private practice that you're doing.
No.
Okay.
Okay. So you signed with the company. Did you have to get certified for anything before you started, or or you just jumped right into life coaching?
I jumped right into it because it's first of all certifications, it's like a piece of paper, like a degree with a piece of paper. But when people who have degrees are not that smart, it's like you have to figure it out by yourself.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I got 2 degrees, and no matter how many days I starve myself, I'm not always the smartest man in the room. So
But
I get you.
I'm laughing
you're,
because it's very
you're
true. what
intelligent.
you
You're
said.
intelligent compared to most people I've met in my life. So
I would have been happy if you had said handsome, but I'll take intelligent.
I'm sapiosexual, so yeah.
All right. So you jumped right in. Do you remember your first client?
Yeah, my first client was actually burnout. Um, was facing burnout, was facing issues in the present,
Mm-hmm.
life choices. And I guess they weren't happy with the job they were in. And my first one had to change the job. And it was a kind of difficult move for them because they came to me. They came to me, said that everything else was a problem. Like my relationship was a problem, my life is a problem. Like that's how they came to me. And when they left, it's like, okay, I need to just quit my job and take another job. And they eventually, that person took another job, but they still stick to the same field. So it was okay.
Okay. Okay.
So did the economic recession, did
Yes.
that make you be like, hey, I want to start a business?
Yeah, because I need to change the game, right?
You need
Talk
it.
about it. Talk about it.
Wow, talking like a true alpha. I need to change the game.
You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, thanks to this now. I said, I need.
Right?
Yeah,
Look, right at the camera too. You said
everybody's doing
that.
the same thing. Everybody's doing the same thing. Why it's time to change the game.
And that goes
Yes,
back
now.
to our conversation for when you said in 2020, it was, hey, these are heroes, to 2021, they're breaking the rules. So now it's to get entrepreneurship status.
Yes. The thing is, the thing is that this happens a lot because a lot of med students are losing their autonomy, and that's the most important part of your brain. And the thing is that because the whole entire syllabus and everything is hard, and they have this idea that they can't accomplish anything, and then when they get a degree, it's like they can speak up. So I mean, they put all their high hopes on a piece of paper, which shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, I completely agree. I really put my high hopes in a piece of paper, and I drive vans for a living now. So, that piece of paper did me a lot of good. But how do you determine the pricing of each client?
The thing is that I wanted each like everybody to afford kind of my services. So I kind of like what I did was like I separated it into different categories depending on the time and the price and
Okay.
what I was going to give out. So people what they could afford to have a few minutes of conversation, and I'm the type of person who's actually very lenient on the time. So if I kind of notice that hard time and they don't have much money to put in for my service, like I manage they get the maximum input for that value.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And
I mean, I wish you were in
also,
charge of our healthcare system. That sounds so much better than what we have to deal with.
Are you
Hey.
also using insurance for different clients? Like
What?
like with clients you take, do you accept the insurance? If they have insurance, do you accept insurance
Yes.
cards also? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And how does life coaching differ from therapy?
That's a good
Uh,
one. Yeah.
That's a good question, actually, because therapy is like you're basically telling all your problems and this person is giving you a quick fix. But here in life coaching is like this person is telling all their problems and you're trying to figure out what the actual root cause problem is. And you're trying to trying to figure out their life, um, for this one person who's trying to figure out their life for them by placing goals, try to take the needed actions to get to that
Mm.
particular. So that's the difference.
So it would technically still be under the same umbrella as a therapist, right?
It's kind of different because you're just, first of all, in a therapy session, you're actually explaining all your problems. And then the thing is that this is why I didn't want to go to therapy when I was in med school. They give you drugs, and you want- it's you're only addressing the symptom. You're not addressing the whole
The
root cause.
problem.
Yeah.
root
Right.
of-
Mhm.
Okay.
So, so in terms of monthly income, are you comfortable talking about that?
No, because like I am just starting.
Okay.
I
That's fair.
start.
Okay.
So
So,
I'm not the person to talk about values at this stage, but maybe in the future, yes, I can talk about values when I'm like more
Okay.
yeah.
That's fine.
so, and in terms of marketing, the company that you signed with to be a life coach, do they do the marketing for you, or do you market yourself?
So I was doing it myself. I was doing it in the real world, like without the internet services. Like I wasn't dependent on the internet services because I was in the university and a lot of kids were rich. Yeah. So yeah. So the thing is that I think I first got my first real clients without even pricing my structures at the moment in the university. Actually,
Okay.
it was the green light for me.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Diamond?
So why should people stay in the present moment?
Ooh, wow.
But there are more opportunities in the present moment, and you need to look for them, because this is what life is teaching us. It's like in the present moment, so many opportunities are flying by, and you may be ignorant of them because you're always people are often living either in the past or in the future. And if
Mhm.
you're in the past, you miss out on all the opportunities that are coming your way to change your life. Every day you have an opportunity saying, hey, I'm going to this opportunity is going to say change your life, but you're not listening, you're not looking, you're blind, you're deaf, you're you're focused on something else. Yeah.
Okay.
Got it. Okay, thank you for that. All right, guys. Is there any more questions before I'm gonna ask her the last question, and then you're gonna give your final thoughts, and then how can we reach you, social media and everything. So I give it to TC and Naira.
Nara's all yours.
You bet it is. So my question is,
Here we go.
have you had have you had a job before? After you graduated, were you employed at one point in time?
No.
Okay. No, because my question would have been, how would how would your entrepreneurship, how it compares to having a 9 to 5? But if you never had a 9 to 5,
Yeah.
you have nothing to compare it to. So then just talk to me about the advantages of being a life coach and entrepreneurship in that way.
So you work in your own timing, and basically you have the freedom to kind of plan your day. While as a 9 to 5, you're kind of under someone else. So you don't have time to plan your day, and I guess being an entrepreneur, you realize your own self-worth and you charge according to the results that you provide.
And is there any job offer that could dissuade you from doing what you're doing right now?
No.
Okay, I like that.
So you found your passion. This is what you want to. You want to be a life coach.
Yes, and I have an idea for the future as well, is to restructure education. So I really want to make that happen, because I think life coaching really goes with restructuring education.
Wow, you
Because
know what? Wow.
people
Go ahead.
need find their purpose at a really young age, like 15, let's say, and they are not going to stop studying right after university or school, right? They're going to study for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So you just hit on something that what was one of my questions to ask, my final questions to ask you. And it was, how can you see the world being a better place? And you said education. What else? What else do you see? Like, what are the solutions? And also, you as far as you talk about education, what else? Like, as far as like, also you can include health in that too.
So the thing is that one of the reasons I got into restructuring education is that I realized that a lot of leaders do not know what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing, and they don't know what's happening in the country at all. So they are not in control of everybody, and all they know to do is mandate laws that actually benefits businesses. Like Cypher actually gained like 36 million from the vaccines USD.
Jesus.
Vaccines were supposed to be given to patients. These untested vaccines were supposed to be given to mostly patients who are facing severe conditions. And that did not happen. Only most of the people who got the vaccine were actually healthy. So
what's go ahead.
So the thing is that that's what restructures the education. So actually students know how to deal with third world problems. If you know how to deal with the third world problems, I'm sure in the future we can elect better leaders. We can elect better people for their jobs. Actually, hire better people for their jobs. People who are not lazy, and people who can identify who is really intelligent and who's exactly suitable for that job, that specific.
Beautiful.
That's why I like education, because I think education is the root cause of everything. And the thing is that a lot of us don't know what political leaders are doing is they're increasing the gap between the rich and poor as well. And the thing is that if both of them actually kind of have access to this kind of knowledge, we can reduce the gap.
No, you're absolutely
Very
right.
true.
The wealth gap in this country, I know the global wealth gap is ridiculous, right? Because I read articles from the New York Times about the wealth gap in Germany, France, Scotland, England. Yes. You know, it's increasing. And meanwhile, I think globally, this generation, well, the millennial generation, I think, is still the most educated of all the groups, and yet the income disparity is so high that we make less than the previous generations behind us. And
the future looks brighter for entrepreneurship, not for jobs.
Yes, no, you're absolutely right.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
that's a fact. Yes. Okay. Any more solutions? Or this education is like the key, it is the key. Yes.
Yes, it is to solve most of the problems that are happening worldwide.
Yes. Any more solutions or no?
I think that's the biggest problem. I think education, the problem in our education system. If this business goes right, we'll be solving most of the education, most of the situations in the world, actually, global situations. If this business becomes phenomenal to everybody and changes their whole kind of impact towards life itself, because they think that they need to be sad, they need to live this horrible life. But no, it's just those limitations that have been put into your head from a very early age, and you need to unlearn and kind of relearn the whole process. And then expand those limitations, because there is a way to reach for your ultimate happiness at the end of the day.
So what is the solutions as far as health goes? And then Nairon, you could take it away, and then she's gonna say
Yeah.
final thoughts and everything, and that's it.
So for
All
health,
right.
for health goals, like what I wanted to do with my company specifically is like, I want to like hire a doctor and I want to hire a health coach and kind of make them kind of work together.
Okay.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay.
All right.
All right, Nairon, take it away. And then after that, she's gonna say her final thoughts, and then social media and everything. And then we're gonna close it out.
We'll close off. Yeah.
TC, do you have any questions?
Nah, I'm good.
All right. Do you do long distance relationships? And if not, how much is a plane ticket from France to the United States?
Me to the king.
Right, DC?
Those are the only questions I got. I got nothing else.
And I felt it coming in now. I said he's gonna say something. I felt it. Boy.
Okay.
Yeah, Diamond.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts is that don't think life is always miserable and you will be in that state. There's always a way to the light. I think that light is within you, and you have to learn how to reach for it. Because even if you're going through a tunnel, one wise person told me, if you're going through a dark tunnel, there is a switch inside you that you have to flick it on, and you are the light that guides yourself out of that dark tunnel.
All right.
I do want to say to you also, I do commend you coming from where you came from, abusive household, being the black sheep of the family.
Yeah.
To basically teach yourself and show yourself the leadership that you have in you to become who you are today. I just want to commend yourself and say, good job at getting where you are now. I know that's a lot of work you did, but I get it, So I just want to say, congrats on that.
Thank you.
No problem.
That means a lot.
No problem.
And how can they reach you on social media? How can they connect with you and talk about your podcast and everything?
So I'm on LinkedIn. The way you can reach me is through there. And I have a website. It's called www.teoact.net. And that's like the preliminary stages for my big idea. I'm still young and I still have a long way to go. I still believe that. And my podcast is like where I tell you all the situations that are happening during the pandemic. So I explain, I got a doctor to come and actually explain why the vaccine is bad, actually, to support my views. And so I will be like a more trusted person. So it's called Theo Podcast, The Pandemic Press. We have episode number 37. You have COVID reports, big pharma scams. He talks about everything. He's a doctor. And I got everything what he said on tape. So that proves it. And also I was doing my own research and he was doing his own research as well, because he was a sheep. He explained that he was a sheep to this kind of system. And then he later realized what he was doing was wrong. So I got it all on tape, and we kind of combined our research together. And especially for the cures for COVID-19, what are the things you should take? It's for research purposes only. It's not proper health advice, but you had to question your physician, local physician, with all these cures and everything. It's on the description.
Mhm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What's the name of your podcast?
Teo Podcast, the Pandemic Press.
Say that one more time.
Teo Podcast.
Okay.
TAO.
No. I heard you the first time. I just wanted to hear your voice one more time.
That's good. All right. So do you have Facebook, Instagram?
Yeah, you
that
can see on Facebook. The thing is that, yeah, my Instagram picture, I need to change it because I'm a woman who likes to look pretty, right?
I could tell. I appreciate the effort that you put into looking nice.
Yes, and a lot of people actually misunderstand this because they have one stereotype in mind, that geeks do not put makeup. I'm like, hello, I'm 26. I like to look pretty. I'm wearing makeup. And these are like, I don't know, these are like close-minded people, especially in university.
Yeah. I get a very anti-university vibe from you.
The thing is that it's because I try to fit in, and like things didn't go according to what I had expected, because like people weren't nice. And I am a person who trusts people like so wholeheartedly from a young age.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. That's the end of the episode. This is your episode 33. Thank you, Rashni, for all the knowledge you gave us. And that's a wrap on our episode. Thank you, everyone.
Call me, please.
Oh God.